Hello everybody, you're with your host, Maurice, CEO of SLOWMOED LLC. Thank y'all for joining me this evening on Live on SLOWMOED. This is our 71st live stream. Thank y'all for tuning in this evening, taking the time to tune in. We have some very critical information to cover this live stream. Per usual, today we're going to go over everybody is African, everybody is a Moor. So we have some groundbreaking information that we're going to cover that has not been covered on the internet up until this point. Now I know some of you all may be thinking, why is Maurice always talking about more of this, African this, more of this, African this? The reason why I'm referring to this topic back to back is because this topic has been covered up for the past centuries and millennia, and I'm presenting the evidence that these other platforms are not doing, these other celebrities are not doing, these other politicians are not doing, when they understand that how this information correlates to the so-called quote-unquote black people. So you're looking on the screen. This is our official website. Make sure y'all check it out. Check out our blog. Check out our shop. Check out our slow-moed Moorish portals and our mystics and live page. Make sure y'all check that out. Have a lot of important information to cover all through our website. And also make sure y'all donate. If y'all see down here scrolling on the banner, donate to our Cash App, and also come to our official website and donate to our PayPal account by clicking on this button right here. So I want to start off this live stream with basically giving more context to the title of this video, which is Everybody is African, Everybody is a Moor. So we're going to refer to the author of this book that came out in 2025 entitled Who Were the Moors Before the Moors? And this author's name is Kabahai Watha Kamene. So let us show this. This is located on our official Twitter page, so make sure y'all check that out. And here's the video itself. So let me zoom in so that everybody can see what's on the screen. Okay, so this is a tweet that I made earlier this year. It says, if we don't clear up this nonsense, we have to, I said, if we want to clear up this nonsense, we have to tell the truth, ma'at. We are all Moors. Homo sapiens, modern humans, come from Africa. Quote, everybody is a Moor, end quote. Dr. Kabahai Watha Kamene. And as you see this video right here, which I'm about to let y'all hear.
Because this is the Moors before the Moors. Because everybody got big mouths. Because this is the Moors before the Moors. Because everybody got big mouths. Okay? Everybody talking about who the Moors are. I ain't black. I'm a Moor. I'm Negro. I'm African American. I'm foundational black American. Everybody is a Moor. And that's why I wrote the book, Who Were the Moors Before the Moors? Because we tend to, Brother Amadeus, focus on the years 711 to 1490. Mm-hmm. But who were the Moors that went into Spain? Who were they in 709? Who were they in 707? I've got chapters on the Olympics. The word Olympic itself comes from Nigeria. Because this is the Moors.
So, as you see it here, Kabahai Watha Kamene just explained that we are all Moors. However, the term Moor is not covered and referred to a lot in a lot of these PhDs books, which I'll get into more context later in this live stream. But I also want to present more evidence that we are all Africans. So let me go to a book entitled Introduction to African Civilizations by John G. Jackson. So let me bring this here. We're currently borrowing, so gotta load real quick. So at the beginning of this book, what I want to show, as you see, African origin, Introduction to African Civilizations, John G. Jackson. His dedication to this book, as you see right here on this first page. Well, not this first page, but the beginning of the book, before the table of contents. So, this book is dedicated to everybody with an African ancestry, the whole human race. Okay? So, we have the evidence here. I just presented you basically the title of this video, just in a different order. Okay? So now I have another reference by a PhD from Cambridge and a PhD from another university. I can't think of the name currently. Hang on. But this recently came out. This interview came out yesterday. So I'm about to share that. Give me one moment. This is actually on our page. Hang on. Let me zoom out. I got too much going on. Okay, so make sure y'all follow our official Twitter page. Follow now. Follow. This is where we are most active currently, keeping up with our supporters. But this interview on Shannon Sharp's podcast of Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Humans' origin is in Africa. There is no dispute about it at all. You know, let's say, well, what are you? That's a well, I'm Italian. Well, where were you born? American. Where are your parents born? Brooklyn. Where are their parents born? Italy. Right. So I'm Italian. Right. And they stop there. And if you keep going, we're all African. There is an ancestor of yours that is African. If you go far enough back on the tree, where you stopped in Sweden, and you stopped in Italy, and you stopped in Poland, keep going back.
All my life.
So I just wanted to show that to basically prove to you. And let's go to the title of this video so that you all can look up this video yourselves. Okay, so this is on Club. This is on Club Shay Shay's YouTube channel, one of the biggest podcasters in the world. Neil deGrasse Tyson on the truth around the moon landing, aliens, evolution, human origins, and Bigfoot. Okay, so this came out. Actually, this came out today. Excuse me. I thought it came out yesterday. So as you see, this was uploaded 9 hours ago. Alright. So I'm just giving the evidence. I'm presenting the evidence because these other YouTubers, other platform guys, they're not presenting enough evidence. We already covered that. Okay. Already watched that.
Right. There it is. What do you think is the biggest difference between European, Asians, and Africans? Well, besides region. Well, so we all came out of Africa. Okay, okay. We all originated. Yeah. So basically every human form originated from the Asiatic. No, from African. African. Yes. Humans. Okay. Origin is in Africa. Africa. There is no dispute about none at all. None. Zero at all. So now let me lead into that by saying, we surely know people. You say Americans, and you say, oh, they'll say, well, what are you? That's a well, I'm Italian. Well, where were you born? America. Where are your parents born? Brooklyn. Where are their parents born? Italy. Right. So I'm Italian. Right. All right. Here's another one. Okay. What are you? Oh, I'm Swedish. Okay. Well, where were you born? Oh, I'm born in New York. Where were your parents born? New York. Where are their parents? Because that's the immigrant. Right. Where were their parents born? No, I get it right. So, what comes through? Where are their parents born? Minnesota. Okay. Where are their parents born? Minnesota. Where are their parents born? Sweden. So I'm Swedish. Right. You see what they're doing? Yeah. They're going back their tree, finding the place that fits, that soothes their need to have some kind of an association, even if they've never been to that place. And they stop there. Okay? Okay. What I tell them all is, why don't you keep going? Just keep going. No, I just want to be from Sweden. I'm Swedish. Okay, keep going. And if you keep going, we're all African. There is an ancestor of yours that is African. If you go far enough back on the tree. But you stopped in Sweden, and you stopped in Italy, and you stopped in Poland. Keep going back. The tree, the human tree of life, traces back to Africa. So now, we come out of Africa. Yes. Some continue north. Yes.
Okay, so I just provided you all the evidence for the topic of this live stream. It's like, me personally, I do not have a PhD as of yet. However, I just showed you this doctor from 2 universities. I think he said earlier in the transcript.
Astronomy and astrophysics, bridging the gap between complex scientific concepts and the general public. He has a BA in physics from Harvard, a PhD in astrophysics from Columbia, and he also taught at Princeton. A highly intelligent educator, an accomplished director, and an Emmy-winning executive producer, an acclaimed television host, a popular narrator, a sought-after public speaker, an influential entertainer.
Oh, excuse me. I thought he had 2 PhDs. Let's cut that out. Well, I was wrong there. But yes, I read Neil deGrasse Tyson's book, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. Let's see if we can pull that up. This doesn't have anything to do with our topic, but in that book, Neil deGrasse Tyson didn't cover at that time the origins of astrophysics, that being in the continent of what we call Africa. However, that book was written over a decade ago, so the information may have changed. But yes, this astrophysics is important to quote unquote black people, because they are the descendants of the Kemetians or Egyptians, and we all know that, which has been shown on the video, that all humans come from the continent of Africa. Well, when the slave trade was taking place, there was Africans taken into slavery, enslaved, and brought into the Americas. However, there were Americans already on the continent before Columbus and Cortez and the other Spaniards sailed over. So even those Americans are Africans, according to DNA. And there's also a book by Dr. David Imhotep entitled The First Americans Were Africans. I spelled that wrong. By David Imhotep. Make sure y'all give this a read. Great book. I enjoyed the first part where there's 7 peer-reviewed journals showing the evidence. Okay, so we've already covered on this live stream the topic of this video. Now another thing that I want to cover that's unrelated. Well, it's related. I ain't gonna say it's not related. So we have a lot of PhDs using the term black as opposed to Moor. Okay. The term Moor is older than the term black. So this is AI Claude, and I basically typed in this question. Well, I didn't put a question mark, but is Moor older than black? Then it says, great question. The answer depends on which sense of quote-unquote Moor you mean. But either way, quote-unquote Moor as a word referring to people is significantly older than the modern English word quote-unquote black. Here's the breakdown. Quote-unquote Moor, the ethnic cultural term, the term quote-unquote Moor has its roots in the Latin word moris, coined by the ancient Romans to identify the people of the kingdom of Mauritania in western North Africa. It passed through ancient Greek Maurisios into Latin moris, then Old French Moor, and finally into Middle English as Moor or Moor. This change goes back at least 2,000 years to classical antiquity. Quote-unquote black, the color racial term, the modern English word quote-unquote black comes from Old English black, meaning quote-unquote, well, quote, absolutely dark, absorbing of all light, of the color of soot or coal, end quote. From Proto-Germanic blackus, quote-unquote burn, it was used of dark-skinned people in Old English, placing that usage roughly in the early medieval period, pre-1100s AD. In short, quote-unquote Moor as a term for North African / Muslim peoples traced back to ancient Rome and Greece well over 2,000 years ago. Quote-unquote black as an English word dates to Old English around 1,000 through 1,400 years. So, quote-unquote Moor has the older etymological roots stretching into classical antiquity, while quote-unquote black is a native Germanic word that developed within the English language tradition. So, we have a lot of PhDs, doctors, referring to the dark-skinned people in the Western Hemisphere that are descendants of the slaves in colonial America, calling these people quote-unquote black, when the term Moor is older than black, and Moor meant dark-skinned, dark, as we just seen, as we've been showing on our live stream. The etymology of Moor traces back to meaning dark, as in dark skin complexion. So that's over 2,000 years ago. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, so we just basically broke down everything. I already gave y'all evidence that everybody is African, everybody is a Moor. I just showed you from this PhD in astrophysics from Columbia that everybody is African and everybody is a Moor. We got Kaba Hawata Kamene. In this YouTube video, let me actually go to this link so I can show y'all.
Because this is the Moors before the Moors. So everybody got big mouths.
So this video is by the YouTube channel Building 7. Kaba Kamene, from ancient Egypt to the Moors, setting the record straight.
Okay, everybody talking about who the Moors. I ain't black. I'm a Moor. I'm Negro. I'm African American. I'm foundational black American. Everybody is a Moor. And that's why I wrote the book, Who Were the Moors Before the Moors? Because we tend to, Brother Amadeus, focus on the years 711 to 1490.
Mm-hmm.
But who were the Moors that went into Spain? Who were they in 709? Who were they in 707? I've got chapters on the Olympics. The word Olympic itself comes from Nigeria. Comes from the word, comes from the language of the Yoruba of West Nigeria. Olu. O with O as a prefix, and then Lu, mountain top. That's where the Greeks got Mount Olympus from. See, the point that I'm trying to make right now is something that Dr. Clark used to always tell me and tell us. We're always focused on Egypt, but all of Africa. We have to understand that when our ancestors, our African ancestors, were building pyramids in Kush Kemet or Egypt, they were also building structures in Nigeria. They were building stone structures in southern Africa. They were building civilizations in Central Africa. The first human beings on the planet that moved out of the Homo sapien age. And another thing that I have in Who Were the Moors Before the Moors is, and I left it to the end so that people would be able to understand. We did not descend from apes, but humans, hominids, and apes, panges, have a common ancestor called Ramapithecus. And Ramapithecines who were in the trees, some of them Ramapithecines, for whatever reason, maybe they fell off the tree, maybe they were kicked out the tree, maybe they saw something on the ground that they were attracted to and went down on the ground. They went down on the ground and began to live on the ground as opposed to living in the tree.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it right there, and I want to bring up his book. I meant to bring up this book last live stream, with Dr. Jose V. Pimenta Bay's book, but I forgot. There's a lot of information that I was covering. So I want to show this. Get this on the screen pretty big. Alright. And I'm going to bring this book over and put it right here so y'all can see. Alright. So this is page, as you see, hold up. You see here? This page 101 of this book right here. Who are the Moors before the Moors, right? So if you see I'm zooming in, right? Okay. Ma'at is the foundation of Kush Kemet, Egyptian philosophy and civilization. Quote, to understand the mentality behind African languages, we must again go back to the world's first people, the Twa or Anu people, the authors of the world's first language, end quote. So, Ma'at is the foundation of Moorish Kush Kemet philosophy. Dr. Tashaka tells us, quote, the Twa, the people who embody Ma'at in their just living, are the initiators of Kush Kemet deep thought or philosophy, end quote. So, the Itari forest in Central Africa. The Itari rainforest is a rainforest located in the Itari province of Northeastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, formerly called Zaire. So let's look up the Itari rainforest, just so we know where we're looking at, just so we know the geography of what we're looking at. Alright, so I'm bringing up this map. So the Itari rainforest, right? So Itari, Democratic Republic of Congo. So you see this is North Africa. You see this is West Africa. You see this is South Africa. You see this is East Africa. And you see this is Central Africa, right? So the definition of the word Moor, as we've been showing on all of our live streams, pretty much all of our live streams. And let me bring up another book, The Concise Dictionary of the English Language by Walter W. Skeet, as you see right here. Walter W. Skeet, page 334. Let me zoom in. Look. Okay. So if you see right here on the screen, you got Moor, a native of North Africa, and that's it. And then you got blackamoor, corruption of blackamoor, and it shows the translation, well, the history of the word, tracing back to Greek mauros. Yeah, so Moor, a native of North Africa, right? So in this book, in Kaba Kamene's book entitled Who Are the Moors Before the Moors, that he written in the year 2025, it says the Itari rainforest is a rainforest located in the Itari province of Northeastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, formerly called Zaire. The forest's name derives from the nearby Itari River, which flows through the rainforest, connecting firstly to the Aruwimi River, and finally into the Congo and many other river systems. It is also the home of the Moorish slow-moe'd, one of the hunter-gatherer peoples living in equatorial rainforests, characterized by their adult short height below 4'11" or 59 inches on average. The average temperature is 31 Celsius, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And the average humidity is about 85 through 90%. Slow-moe'd origins. The Ife /Mbuti Moors are considered by mitochondrial DNA haplotype analysis to be one of the oldest people on the planet. The Simliki harpoon 9,000 years ago is one of the oldest tools known to mankind and occurs in the natural range of the slow-moe'd Ife. This suggests an initial water civilization based on fishing. I'm just presenting the evidence to you all, showing this evidence because these other YouTube platforms, these other guys going over Moorish science, Moorish history, etc., they're not covering the connection of the term Moor with Africa. They're only covering the term Moor associated with Asiatic, when the whole human family comes from the continent of what we call Africa. So this is on page 93, earlier portion of this book, Who Were the Moors Before the Moors. The Twa, also known as Batwa, Tango, Mimotia, or Anu, are God's gift to the world, and they are the ancestors of all humanity. The word Twa, the Twa word for vital force is, quote, Ilani or La, end quote, meaning energy, force, power, or strength. The Moorish Twa Mbuti Khoisan Moiti Tia, who have seen magnets, explain that these devices operate by the same principle. The Twa Mbuti Khoisan Moiti have supernatural, extraordinary, clairvoyant, and telepathic powers of a superhuman order. These parapsychological powers are part of Africa's sacred scientific cultural legacy. Okay? So I'm just providing the evidence, what's written and published. So we already showed that everybody is African, and we showed that everybody is a Moor, according to English. So let's go back to Neil deGrasse Tyson to touch on this Asiatic term. So watch this clip closely. And this is important because this came out today, 9 hours ago, 10 hours ago.
Well, besides region, but so we all came out of Africa.
Let me go back.
And if I were something else, not you, you'd still want to kill me. Right. There it is. What do you think is the biggest difference between European, Asian, and Africans? Well, besides region, but so we all came out of Africa. Okay. We all originated. Yes. So basically every human form originated from the Asiatic. No. From Africa. Africa. Yes. Humans, okay. Origin is in Africa. Africa. There is no dispute about none at all. None. Zero. At all. So now, let me lead into that by saying...
Okay, and this is where we came in, and I showed you all earlier that he was saying, yeah, people trace back their intermediate history back to their parents and their grandparents and then their great-grandparents, but you have to go to the beginning of the human race, the human species. This is why in our present day, in the year 2026, we have humans that are still confused between different quote-unquote races, as if that's a real thing when there's only one human race. So we have different humans debating each other on the concept of what we call race because they're confused of the origins of humans according to science. So we have a doctor here explaining this basically, and this happened today. As y'all see, the clock is rolling right here. Y'all see June 3rd, 2026. This happened at what? Uploaded 9 hours ago, depending on where the location that you're at, but it was uploaded at 11 a.m. So, I mean, we're just providing the evidence. This is what our business does. Make sure y'all buy our merchandise. Go to our official website. Go to our SE website and buy our merchandise. Let's show y'all that. Go to our official website, buy our merchandise. As y'all see here, we have all the different types of merchandise for y'all to sort through, different colors on some of our merchandise, different accessories. So it's not only fashion, but it's also embedding a deeper message for viewers and onlookers, and even to the supporters buying the merchandise. Getting y'all to go to our slow-moed Moorish portals if y'all are not interested in this African talk. If y'all not interested in the African talk, if y'all not interested in the Moorish talk, our live streams, etc., you all can just ignore it and go to our slow-moed Moorish portals, because we're still using African science and knowledge to create the slow-moed Moorish portals. It's unavoidable, really. So we have different things, as you see, the Eye of Haru, Osiris, etc. Moor, Noble Drew Ali, etc. Okay, so we have a lot of Moorish Science Temple of America groups. Members only saying, the Moroccan Treaty and wearing the fez, the red hat, the red fez, there's nothing wrong with wearing the fez, but that isn't the only African Moorish hat or crown. I understand that the fez is associated currently with the Shriner Temple, the Masonic Shriner Temple, or Shriners International. I understand that. However, we have to be mindful that the alphabet, which is what Moor... how I want to explain this. The alphabet comes from the Africans. It comes from the Egyptians. They're responsible for the alphabet. And the Egyptians got the art of writing from the Ethiopians. Now, that's according to Dr. Obotashaka in his book, The integration trap, generational gap. So where am I? Damn. Okay. I just wanted to show this image on the screen so that we can get a general reference of like what we're reading. Alright, so I'm going to show that on the screen, and let me bring up the book just to show proof, because that's what slow-moed does. We present the evidence. There's not a lot of naysay. We present evidence. Okay, so we're looking at this book, The Integration Trap, Generational Gap, Caused by a Choice Between Two Cultures by Dr. Obitashaka. So I obtained this reference, this book, from Who Were the Moors Before the Moors. Dr. Kabahawata Kamene referenced the integration trap, generational gap, a lot in his book, Who Were the Moors Before? Who Were the Moors Before the Moors? Okay, so we got the book here. So I want to go to let's go to the exact page that the Egyptians got the art of writing from the Ethiopians. And the Ethiopians were the colonizers of Egypt. As I've said in multiple live streams, that's why I say put our live streams on repeat so that you can go back and see the references that I presented and how it correlates to our current live streams. But you all must understand, I am a human, so I'm not perfect, but I try to minimize the mistakes that I make. Okay? So any mistakes that I do make, call it out in the comment section, and I'll try my best to address it. Okay, I wanted to go to, I think it's chapter 11. I could be wrong. Where's the title page? Okay, here we go. So we're going to go to chapter 4, 174. Went too far. Went too little. I know it's a faster way of doing this, so I'm just taking my time.
Need food for your workplace on weekends? We've got you covered. Get great food from favorite restaurants for all your teams.
So as y'all see on the screen, Chapter 4, the Twa or Anu, founders of pre-dynastic Kemet. Okay. So, like I said earlier, we have a lot of PhDs using the term black instead of Moor. Okay. So this causes an issue, unfortunately, because it avoids Moorish history, which is still, which the term Moor came before the word black, as we just shown. Excuse me real quick. Okay. So what I want to show here, So it says here, Dr. Sheikhat Job and Dr. Theophilo Banga in the 1974 UNESCO conference, quote, Peopling of Egypt, end quote, clearly established the historical fact that the ancient Kemites, Egyptians, were black from the beginning of Kemet's history down to the historical period described by the Greek historian Herodotus as black, even when blacks no longer ruled Kemet. Okay, so as I stated in a previous live stream, this is an anachronism. So if Herodotus was referring to the so-called blacks in Kemet, which were the Kemites or Africans or Moors, they referred to mauros or Ethiops. Herodotus was not using the term black during the time of him being alive. So you have 3 PhDs, Dr. Sheikhat Job, Dr. Theophilo Banga, and Dr. Tashaka, using the word black, publishing this, and this causes an issue because it bypassed Moorish history and the origin of the word, the etymology of the word Moor. Oh, here we go. So, yeah, I'm gonna read a little bit of this, but I wanted to read to get to the origin of writing, because we've been told by Dr. Albert Churchward in his book Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man on page 48, I believe. I can pull that up really quickly. Let's see here. Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man. Page 48, I believe. 43, page 43. So in Dr. Albert Churchward's Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man, page 43, he says, Eusebius, Plato, and the cursive characters really formed the first alphabet that ever existed, and from these the Phoenician and hence all other alphabets emanated. Eusebius, Plato, and Tacitus all state that the Phoenicians did not claim themselves to be the inventors of the art of writing, but admitted that it was obtained by them from Egypt. Therefore, the Egyptians were the inventors of the alphabet. Okay? We've covered this in our live stream. However, upon further examination, we have here on page 176 of the integration trap, the generation gap caused by a choice between two cultures by Dr. Albert Tashaka. So we have here, I'm going to start reading from this point downwards. As previously explained, the world's first humans, or Homo sapiens sapiens, were black Twa, who the Greeks called pygmies. As noted in chapter 3, mitochondrial DNA conclusively traces the world's first mother to the Twa or pygmies. Humanity has a common origin, and civilization has a common origin in Africa. So I'm still presenting the evidence that everybody is African. However, this author isn't saying more. He's using the term black. Okay, let's continue. The ancient classical writer of the West, Diodorus Siculus, discussed, I believe this is Siculus, discussed the origin of Kemet in a way familiar to ancient scholars. The Ethiopians say that the Egyptians are one of their colonies which was brought into Egypt by Osiris. They add that from them, as from their authors and ancestors, the Egyptians get most of their laws. It is from them that the Egyptians have learned to honor kings and gods and bury them with such pomp. Sculpture and writing were invented by the Ethiopians. The Ethiopians cite evidence that they are more ancient than the Egyptians. Okay? Let's go to that reference. Chapter 4:7. I'm not even sure what the references are. So chapter 4:7. Egypt Revisited by Ivan Van Sertima. Okay.
We start with only the freshest items, then choose your favorites. Carefully pack everything up and load it right into your trunk so you can feel confident it's what you ordered. Prep.
Excuse me one moment while I bring up this by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. And you have also, I want to make a note on this. You have people on the internet claiming that certain people that that the quote unquote black community has been calling doctors aren't doctors and don't have a accredited doctor's degree. So you all have to watch out for this as well. The credential of doctor. Okay, Diodorus of Sicily. Okay, yes, that was a mistake. So, I'm trying to zoom in. Okay, hang on. There we go. So this is page 122 of Egypt Revisited by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. And as you can see, that what we just read, let me zoom in so everybody can see. I know some of y'all can't see. Alright? Diodorus of Sicily informs us that, quote, the Ethiopians say that the Egyptians are one of their colonies which was brought into Egypt by Osiris. They add that from them, as from their authors and ancestors, the Egyptians get most of their laws. It is from them that the Egyptians have learned to honor kings and gods and bury them with such pomp. Sculpture and writing were invented by the Ethiopians. The Ethiopians cite evidence that they are more ancient than the Egyptians, but it's useless to report that here. Okay. So, I mean, we're getting the record straight. We're presenting the evidence. I just showed you all multiple PhDs saying that we're all African. Everybody's African. I can show even more. I can show Dr. Malefikita Sante. I can show Dr. Infudisi Jahutimus. I can show Dr. Alice Roberts. Can show Dr. Thomas Brophy. We the list goes on and on. It's like, when will we stop with the BS? When will the BS be enough to actually solve this problem? So I thank y'all for tuning in on this live stream. I'm gonna call an end to it on the 1 hour mark. I thank y'all for tuning in this evening and checking us out. We cover some heavy hitting information that a lot of these other platforms, celebrities, politicians, etc. are not covering, and we're one of the first to do it and put it in video media. So thank y'all for tuning in, and make sure y'all check out our merchandise, purchase our merchandise. We have a lot of interesting accessories. Support our brand, and if you do not want to support our brand through our merchandise, feel free to donate. As I've said earlier, donate to our Cash App, as you see scrolling across the screen. Donate to our PayPal. I'll add the link to the description. And we have more slow-mo Moorish portals coming in the future, and we also have a special video that's being dropped. It's in the works. Gonna drop that within the upcoming weeks, so be on the lookout for that. And I thank y'all for tuning in, and I bid y'all farewell. And I know I'm saying "and" a lot. I just have a lot to say and espouse. But like, comment, subscribe, and share. And we are out.